In this tutorial, you'll learn how to create a tribute to the original Alien movie poster, complete with the alien egg and a green glowing effect. To recreate the Alien 1979 poster, we'll be using Adobe InDesign and a Photoshop glow effect to replicate the ominous atmosphere of the Alien film poster. Don't forget to subscribe to Envato Tuts Plus for more free courses and tutorials. I'm Ashley Harrell, and in this tutorial, we'll look at how to design a movie poster through effective use of layout, color, and movie fonts to give the movie poster design depth and atmosphere. Before we begin, make sure you check out Envato Elements. Get unlimited downloads of design assets, templates, and images like the one used in this tutorial. Subscribe now with the link in the description. The first thing you want to do is create a new document. Set your units to inches, the width will be 27 and the height will be 40. Make sure facing pages is unchecked and change your margins to 1 inch. Set your bleed to 0.25 on each side. Go to your layers panel and start renaming your layers. Let's start off with background, and from there we will do metal, then egg, then smoke. The next one will be type, and the last one will be paper texture. First, we're going to start off with the background layer, so lock all of the other layers. Now we're going to make 2 color swatches. We're going to make a deep black color swatch, and we will make a neon yellow green color swatch. And also, if you're intending to share this poster online rather than print it, you can switch your color mode to RGB, which will give your green a more neon appearance. Now on your background layer, use the rectangle tool to create a shape across the whole page and set the fill to deep black. Using the ellipse tool, we are going to make a wide oval shape at the bottom and fill it with the neon yellow green. With the oval selected, go to Object Effects Transparency and set the mode to Hard Light. And then click on Gradient Feather and change the type to Radial and adjust your gradient stops. And then click on Directional Feather and set the bottom feather to 8 inches. Now click on the metal layer and use the rectangle frame tool and draw an image frame across the bottom of the poster. Now go to File, Place, and place the texture metal image. And rotate it 180 degrees and make sure it fills the frame. Now return to the gradient feather options, and we're going to change the type to linear, and the angle will be 90 degrees. And again, adjust your gradient stops. And then click on Edit, Copy, and Edit, Paste in Place. And on this layer, we will change it to Soft Light. Type out the name of your movie poster. I will be using the word Alien. And using the font MBF Atom, change the size to 50. Center it and change your tracking to 6000. And use paper for the swatch. And then go towards the bottom of your poster and type out a slogan. For this example, I will be using "In space, no one can hear you scream." Select your font and change your size to 43 with a tracking of 30. And place this closer to the glowing light at the bottom. Now we're going to go over to Photoshop and open up your egg image. Go to Select Subject and create a mask from this egg image. And now open up your elephant skin texture photo. And place it on top and right click, create clipping mask, and change this layer to linear burn. And duplicate it. And change this layer to divide with an opacity of about 60%. Now we're going to place the chameleon skin texture. And of course, make sure it covers the entire egg. And right click, create clipping mask, and change this layer to lighter color with an opacity of 24%. Now we're going to duplicate this layer, but we're going to change this layer to subtract, and opacity will be 20%. Now we're going to place the gecko scales texture, and I will place this over half of the egg. And then duplicate this layer, and I will transform it and flip it horizontal. And merge both of these layers together. And create clipping mask and change this layer to subtract, and the opacity will be 17%. Now we're going to place one of the oval shape glass images onto our egg. And of course, right click, create clipping mask, and change this blend mode to screen. Now make a selection from the egg and add a channel mixer adjustment layer. And then add a solid color layer above it. Change it to the dark gray black from the swatches panel. And then right click, create clipping mask, and from the channel mixer layer, we will apply an inner glow. Change the blend mode to screen, opacity 100%. The color will be white. The technique will be softer. The source will be edge. The choke will be 17, size 70. Change this layer to screen with an opacity of 25%. Place all of your layers within a folder and change this layer to egg. Create another folder and name it neon. Working on a new layer in the neon folder, ensuring the option in the top control panel is set to shape. Use the pen tool to draw a rough crack shape across the top part of the egg. Set the fill of this crack shape to a very pale neon yellow. Now double click this layer and now we will apply an outer glow. Set the blend mode to screen, opacity should be 100. The color should be a neon color. The size should be 90. And range should be 47%. Now duplicate this layer. And then on the effects, change the blend mode to pen light with an opacity of 65%. Change the spread to 20 and the size will be 250. Now on this bottom layer, change it to pen light with an opacity of 86%. And then on this top layer, change it to pen light as well with an opacity of 70%. Now we're going to file place some of the smoke images. Position it over the right side of the crack and place it within its own group. Create a new color fill layer and use the colors 218, 255, and 104. Right-click, create clipping mask. Set this layer to pen light with an opacity of 77%. Now take both of these layers and duplicate it. And adjust this to the other side of the crack. And make sure you file save your egg as a PSD file. Before you leave Photoshop, open up one of the smoke images. We will tint this one with a neon green swatch as well. And save this as a PSD. Now move back over to InDesign and we will unlock the egg layer and we will file place our egg that we saved as a PSD. Now go up to Object Effects Transparency with the egg still selected. And we will bring down the opacity to 93%. Then select Inner Glow and change the mode to multiply using the deep black swatch. The opacity will be 97 The technique softer source edge size will be 1. And choke will be 15%. And then change the noise to 9. And now we will add a gradient feather effect to the image. And again, adjust your gradient stops. And change your angle to 53 degrees. Now to make the glow of the cracked egg really pop, we can enhance the vibrancy of the glow effect. Use the pencil tool, or you can use your pen tool to trace along the line of the crack and set the stroke width to something very thin. For this example, I will use 0.1 and set the stroke color to paper. And then let's apply an outer glow effect and choose the neon yellow green swatch for the color. Set the opacity to 100%. The size will be 3.6 and the noise will be 7. And change the spread to 46%. Now to enhance the 3D quality of the egg, use the ellipse tool to draw a wide oval over the bottom half of the egg and set the fill to paper. And now change our transparency, and the opacity will be 75%. Now click on Gradient Feather and apply a radial gradient with the transparent part of the gradient at the outer edge of the oval. Continue to adjust the radial gradient until you get it the way you like. Now uncheck the smoke layer and place the separate smoke file that we saved as a PSD. Place it near the crack. Now go to your transparency effect and change the mode to hard light, and the opacity will be 75%. And then click on Gradient Feather so that we can dissolve those edges a bit. As a final finishing touch, unlock the paper texture layer at the top of the layer sequence and file place one of the paper textures into the frame so that it extends across the whole poster. Now go back to your transparency effects and we will change this mode to multiply with an opacity of 75%. So now that you're finished, it is time to save our poster, and now we're going to export it for print. To export your poster as a printable PDF, go to File, Export, and choose PDF Print from the Format options. In the dialog box that opens, choose Press Quality from the preset options and include the bleed in your export. Alternatively, you can also file export your poster design as a JPEG or PNG image for sharing online. And that's how you make an alien movie poster in InDesign and Photoshop. So if you like this video and you would like to see more, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click that little bell icon to be notified of any new videos. I'm Ashley Harrell. Thanks for watching.